Today I'm going to provide a brief introduction to object-oriented programming. First, you'll want to download the Chapter 7 zip file and place it into the CPT 189 folder. And next, you'll extract that and extract it in place. And you can see that you have the Chapter 7 extracted file. In addition to the Chapter 7 zip, the Chapter 7 is what you want, the extracted file. Next, we're going to open Eclipse. Using the CPT 189 as your workspace. Take just a second. Okay, next we're going to import an existing project into the workspace. Click Next. And we're going to select as the root directory CPT 189 Chapter 7. Click Finish. And there you have it. There's your project has been created. Note that there are two packages. The first is simply called Chapter 7, and the other one is called Static Class Methods. And these are reserved words, so I had to put underscores in there to make it a little different. I wanted to use that package name just to explain that this is simply package was created simply to demonstrate static classes and methods, and we'll get back to that in just a second. Let's start with Chapter 7, and the first object that we've created is a person object. And note that this is a very simple object. It has a string called name. The other data value it has is an integer named age. And then we've created some methods called getName, setName, getAge, and setAge. Because these are private variables and we want to keep them protected within the object, we don't want to have direct access to that. We've created what's called getter and setter class methods to modify those variables. And the constructor takes the values as inputs, the name and the age values, and when the class is instantiated, it'll pass name and age variables and set those initially, and then those can be modified using the getters. The setters, and then you can retrieve those using the getters, the getter methods. Now, another thing that I've done here is I've overridden the string method to display a person's info. Each object has a default toString method, and by default it just returns an identifier of that object, which isn't always really useful. Maybe in debugging it would be useful, but generally it's not. You as a programmer providing information to a user. So we've overridden that with the getName and getAge methods, and then we have a little formatting here, and we'll see more about this as we do our testing. Now, one thing that you want to notice here is that I've created a test class. There's no main method in this class. We're going to run everything out of our test class. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So the first thing that we'll do in this test class with its main method is we'll instantiate or create a new person object. We will pass in the default values of Alice, and she'll have an age of 30. And then we'll print out this original information. And you can see here, all I have to do is do a print line of the class name, and it'll default to the toString method that we created and provide a formatted output. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to change the object's the person's name to Bob and set his age to 25, and then we'll turn around and do the same thing as we'll print the output and see the difference here. So let's go ahead and run through this. I don't think this is simple enough that I don't think it's necessary to go in the debugger at least the first time through. So let's run it and see what happens. So there you have it. That's what we would expect, is that the object was instantiated or created with values of Alice and 30. That information was printed out, and then we modified using the setters. We changed the name to Bob, and we changed the age to 25. Ran it again. Again, there's the expected output. Bob and is the name, and the age is 25. So that does a pretty good job of a very, very simple object, and demonstrates the use of public and private methods and variables and things like that. Enough to get you started, and as you look at more programs, pay attention to this, and as you learn, it'll make a lot more sense.